Hey sunshine, welcome back to my channel, Alex in the Sunlight. I'm Alex and I'm so happy to see you. The purpose of today's video is to find out, figure out, gain some insight into what your life purpose is, what you came here to do. If the video resonates with you, please give it a like, subscribe so we can spend more time together, comment down below any requests or ruminations you may have, and give me a follow on Instagram at Alex in the Sunlight. I post daily readings there, so you don't want to miss that. If you could also consider becoming a patron over on my Patreon page, it's a really great way to help support this channel and I really appreciate it. Okay, so we've got 4 piles today. Group 1, lapis lazuli. Group 2, malachite. Group 3, labradorite. And group 4, pyrite. Okay, if you've already chosen your pile, it's totally fine. But if you could just humor me, close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through the nose, filling the chest and the belly with air. And as you exhale completely, ask your angels, your spirit guides, or your higher self to aid you in choosing the correct pile for you, so that when you open your eyes, the one you were drawn to first is the right one. Okay, let's get started. Hi, group number 1, those of you who chose lapis lazuli. Okay, so I feel like you guys, for this group, it's hard to pinpoint one kind of like profession, because the purpose behind what I feel like you're here to do you could carry it into whatever it is you're passionate about. There are certain lessons you came here to learn to teach others. So you could possibly be spiritual leaders, or on your way to being one, and you are, if that is the case, a lot of you are completely unaware of that, and that will be surprising to you. And another thing is, the biggest thing that I take away from this is that you're here to heal karmic ties, vows that you made in the past that you can't remember, or maybe you remember it not by remembering exactly what you said and when you said it, but by the feeling that your life has at certain parts, at certain points in your existence. You've felt like whatever is going on doesn't necessarily just have to do with what's going on. I know that sounds really vague, but what I mean is kind of like, say you've been through a period in your life where you are really struggling with academics in some kind of way. And that could just be not necessarily like not getting good grades, but just being at odds ends with school and the education system in general. And you don't really know why. Like, you're just kind of like, it doesn't vibe with me. I'm just not okay. And like, you want nothing to do with it, or it's just not working out. Maybe you do want something to do with it, but there are some kind of like invisible obstacles that seem to keep you from this path, or this path isn't easy. And I'm not saying it's specifically with school. That's literally just a shot in the dark and an example. I'm just saying, like, there could be something that you guys have dealt with that you feel like, even if you don't believe in past lives, it's almost like, you know, like, how long have I been doing this? Like, I'm so tired of this. Like, and if you do believe in past lives, maybe you've questioned it. Like, you know, is this something that I've just dealt with like every time I've come here? Like, because you guys are very old souls. You've been here before, and each time you come, you more or less are dealing with the same kind of lesson, where it's like you guys are meant to overcome certain things mentally and emotionally so you can evolve. And we're all evolving, but specifically with you guys, it has to do, like, your evolution is directly tied. Well, that's true for everybody. All of our evolution is tied to each other, but we may never know. I feel like with you guys, you will know. It will be made known to you some kind of a way. And I have a feeling like for some of you, it's because you're going to end up being a spiritual leader. And like I said, right now, that may be surprising, but this is how I feel. Like, you've been through all of this stuff in your life. You've had these kind of mental blockages that you've been toiling at or dealing with. And in the moment, it could just seem like a nuisance. Like, you're just like, this is so inconvenient. And then you'll notice if you pay attention and if you go over certain times in your life, the lessons that you learned directly helped or influenced in some way someone else's life. So say you come to a conclusion or you receive a download one day and then the very next day you meet someone who could benefit from that information. You know what I mean? And that's happening like on a broad scale because you're here to transcend something. You're here to to upgrade. And every time you come back, you upgrade. And it sends a ripple effect out into the universe. And like I said, we're all connected. But like I also said, some of us may never know. I feel like you guys know. And if you don't know on like at the forefront of your mind, there's like an inner knowing that you're not here for no reason. The stuff that happens isn't for no reason, but it just may be frustrating because you're not quite sure what all the way. And what I mean is like, I feel like some of you guys deal with specific issues like to do with like law of attraction stuff. I feel like you guys are probably very spiritual and grapple with that a little bit. Some of you use spirituality as escapism. Some of you are kind of into spirituality, but you're also like, do I even really, believe in this stuff? And then some of you are like, you believe, like you're just like so into it, you're so super intense about it, but then you're kind of missing the bigger picture as well. So this is purposeful because you guys are meant to find things out and, like I said, receive certain downloads to help you help everyone else around you. And that's why I said in the beginning, it's difficult for me to kind of pinpoint what it is that exactly that you will do. That's why I say spiritual leader is like a broad statement. Some of you guys, when I say spiritual leader, I mean like you are like the shamans of your community. And then some of you guys, it could be like you are teachers, like literal teachers. You teach children, or you do a lot of charity work or volunteer work. I think you guys are very much so led by your heart chakra. And it's also a very earthy energy that I'm getting. So some of you guys might be earth signs, but you don't necessarily have to be. I just feel like you guys are very much so connected to nature, whether or not you know it or whether or not you realize it. Maybe you work with animals. Like, I just feel like whatever it is that you guys choose to do, honor that choice. It's not for no reason. That is your personal avenue to helping others heal and to help teach others the lessons that you are learning. So that could just mean like, say you decided that you wanted to be a poet. The subject matter of your poetry will be profound and it will be necessary for the collective. It'll be necessary for you to share it, right? So don't think there's like one way to do this. There's not. A lot of you are very unique. So honor whatever it is that you are specifically passionate about, because that is like your gateway, okay? But the first card you pulled from the Animal Spirit deck is Tiger. So I'm feeling like this is obviously you guys. This could be, your animal spirit guide in this lifetime. And what it's saying is like, this is one of your personal like lessons to be shared. Like what I was talking about is dealing with fear. I feel like you guys are innately fearless. So you might, and it sounds like counterintuitive, but you might deal with things that purposefully like call upon your courage and make you feel like, am I, can I even do this? I think I'm too scared, and that kind of thing, because part of your life purpose is to live fearlessly and to be comfortable with what would normally make us uncomfortable. Tigers, they hunt in the dead of night. It's silent. They're comfortable in the dark. They're not worried about any, predator stalking them because they are the predator, right? So I feel like that's part of your guys' path, is like owning your power and realizing there's nothing to be afraid of. And you've been here before. So whatever lessons, whatever obstacles, challenges come up, you are more than capable. Okay? You've done it before. And chances are, you handpicked your specific lessons before you decided to incarnate into this form, right? You were like, okay, when I'm that age, I'm gonna do this, and like all of that kind of thing. And I also feel this really strongly because you've got the ancestor here from the Wildwood Tarot, which is the Hierophant in traditional tarot. So it's upright, but when this card came out, it flew out and it kind of like spun. So I feel like, and I instantly felt like, okay, double meaning. I think that, like I said, you guys are probably spiritual leaders, but part of that plan is to also kind of question the status quo. You guys might have been brought up in with traditional beliefs, so you probably have a background or experience with certain belief systems or practices or rituals that are widely accepted by the community that you grew up in, but you probably saw the holes, right? You probably like noticed the inconsistencies or things that just didn't sit right with you. So I feel like you guys are very knowledgeable about spirituality and things of that nature, but there could have been some contention. There could have been some back and forth, some discourse with you and like the other people in your community because of like the ideas that you may have brought up, or you could have possibly questioned them in silence. But part of your life's plan is to kind of be a better kind of leader in that way and lead people by teaching them to lead themselves, teach people by teaching them how to learn and study from themselves. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you guys are better equipped than some of the people who maybe were your mentors, right? And I feel like, you guys are probably in that kind of a lineage of mentor mentee becomes mentor mentee, and it kind of just like goes down the line. Because like I said, you guys have been here before, so obviously so has your lineage, and there may just be a theme throughout of like spirituality and beliefs and what that means and how to modify for the present, and that could also probably be why you've got the tiger here, because when you're dealing with such heavy subject matter, you do need to be fearless, you do need to be courageous, to stick up for those who can't stick up for themselves, to speak for those who can't speak, especially if that person is you, right? But you guys have the ability to do so, and you have the heart. And calling back to what I was saying earlier about some of you guys are just like so devoted to your spirituality, but one of your lessons is kind of like learning what you personally believe, what is actually right for you, and understanding that that is just as valid and that is just as valuable. You've got meditation in reverse, so be careful of doing practices that you think get you somewhere, or don't use your spirituality to kind of ignore issues or ignore problems or obstacles you think you can't face, because you are perfectly capable of facing them. It's why you're here, is to, whatever obstacle it is, whatever lesson it is, you're meant to learn it. You are equipped. You didn't come here ill-equipped, okay? So I think that this is also part of your journey, is like getting still and going within and like really figuring out the inner workings of your own mind. It's going to help you lead others to do the same. Like I said, everything that you are learning, all of the stuff, it's so that it can be passed on. And I think that has kind of been your legacy throughout your lives. And it didn't really necessarily have to do with how you decided to do it, right? Like I said, you could be a teacher or a poet, or a doctor. It doesn't really matter. It's just you are the vessel for these blessings and for these lessons to be learned. And you've got ascension here. So from the angel oracles. So that confirms it for me. Like, you are constantly transcending and ascending. And more earthy imagery, these trees, you know. I feel like you guys also are learning how to accept the cycles of life, letting go of that fear of loss or making mistakes or things like that, and realizing that everything has a time and a place, right? You've got day and night represented, and there's three images of the moon here. So you've got, 1, 2, 3, and then, the night sky with the stars here, and the night sky here, and then here's day. And the sun is just barely peaking, but it's like you guys will come to this understanding that, like, everything is home, nothing is out of place, it all has meaning, it all has purpose. And you're going to help teach that to people in your way. Like, you guys are very wise, whether or not you realize it. Eventually you will. Eventually you'll step into your power and realize, like, oh crap, I'm I'm actually super powerful and valuable to people and their lives. Because you've also got the abundance card here. So I feel like, especially when you decide to choose the specific path for you, which is to embrace life and help others learn their lessons along the way, you will always be provided for. You will always be abundant. And that's also part of your lesson, is to kind of get rid of a lack mindset and understand that you are taken care of and that, you're okay. But the card says, Divine Beloved, please show me how to feel fully deserving to receive. I release my ego's plan and open to being a vehicle for abundance. Right, okay, so, that's why I said earlier, you guys, it's not going to be like I'm able to tell you, oh, you should go into medicine or something. It's going to be the universe telling you by what brings you joy. That is your sign of what you should do, because you have that joy for whatever it is, specifically so that when you're doing this work, because it's hard work working on yourself, not constantly, but working on yourself and your spirituality, your ego, your integration, shadow and light, and all of that stuff. It's work. So you need to be able to enjoy it, because it's your life calling. So you deserve to be able to enjoy it. So you will know what it is that you're meant to do. The purpose is to ascend. The purpose is to impart wisdom and to guide others and help them ascend. But how you get there and how you do that, that is going to be so personal, because it's going to be directly correspondent to what it is that you love, what it is that makes you feel so good to be doing it while you're doing it. You know what I mean? The next card you've got is River, movement. So some of you could possibly, this is another lesson, is to release expectations and stagnation out of fear. You are this tiger, right? There's nothing to be afraid of, so go with the flow. Part of your life purpose is to learn how to just lazily and in a relaxed way traverse this river, to let go and let God, right? Like they say, and release a lot of like pent up control issues, maybe, which is natural, especially when you have like a feeling in your gut that like you're meant to be doing something and it's important and you just want it to work out. And so you may like hold on tight and cling and things like that, but there's no need to. There's really no need to. This water is calm. So when you figure out and are able to allow yourself to understand and know that this water is calm. Know that you are safe. Know that you will be provided for. Know that you are smart enough, you are strong enough to choose the path that's right for you. You'll just be easy breezy sailing along this calm river, which is wonderful. And the next card you pulled is New Beginnings. So that's funny too, because like I said, you guys have been here before. So I feel like I said at the very beginning, this is about releasing karmic ties, okay? You guys, whatever vows that you made, whatever things that you did, it is quite literally in the past, and you have the power to create an entirely new cycle, an entirely new beginning. It's waiting for you. You just have to take courage, take heart, understand, and step into your power as a leader, right? In your own life and in others' lives, you are creating new beginnings, you are opening new doors and manifesting new opportunities. There's no need to do things the way that they once were. You can break the status quo, right? You can create an entirely new way of doing things. You have that power within you. You have so much potential. And that's what you're meant to do, is use it. And remember who you are. You've got the remembrance card here. So whenever you're going through some kind of a life lesson or some kind of challenge, and you are faced with the options to do things the way that they've been done or to do something completely new and take a risk, remember who you are and try and recall as best you can. Maybe do some past life meditation on, okay, I bet you have been faced with this before. What did I do last time? What can I do differently now? It doesn't even have to be a past life. You could literally be reliving the same patterns over and over again. In fact, you probably have been. In fact, like if I'm correct and you are a spiritual leader and you've been here so many times, you probably are well, aware of, or experienced in patterns in your life where you're just like, oh my God, this again. So ask yourself, what did I do last time? Can I do things differently this time? Or can I remember the kind of bravery that I had before? Or whatever it is, like, you have the power to kind of traverse space-time. Like, you can go back and forth and use the wisdom that you've learned before to help you today. And the card says, the frequency of remembrance supports our memory of everything that we have gone through as a soul and body, providing us with valuable information and tools to flow gracefully with and in this life. Right? You know what you're meant to do. Before you do it, you've got the wisdom. You just need to meditate on it. Put this upright and start using meditation not as a way to escape your reality, but to kind of sink deeper into it, kind of get to the root of why things are the way they are in your environment, or in your heart space, or in your mind space, whatever it is. You have the tools already. You already have everything that you need to move forward. And I really wish you the best of luck, because you guys are very important. Everyone is worthy, everyone is valuable. I'm just saying, we need you guys, okay? That's all I've got for you guys, group number 1. I hope it resonated with you. Let me know down in the comments below if it did. Thank you so much for sharing your time and energy with me. I really appreciate it. The magic in me honors the magic in you. Be well. Bye. Hey, group number 2, those of you who chose Malachite. Okay, so what I'm getting right away from you guys is that you are definitely magical beings. You are definitely unique beings. You may have been bullied growing up for being so unique, because I feel like you guys think out of the box, you look out of the box. When I say is like what I mean by look out of the box is like your style. Like you probably dress very eccentrically, or you have very cool hair, or the way that you do your makeup if you wear makeup, or tattoos, piercings. Like none of those things are actually anything to really be shocked at, but I feel like a lot of people still are. So I feel like whatever it is unique to you personally. This is for a bunch of people. So you personally think about whatever it is about you that tends to be some kind of point of conversation with others, even if it's not super hostile. It's just like people can't get over what, you know what I mean? Your hair, your style, the way that you think, the way that you talk, whatever it is, like that is purposeful, because you guys are meant to be that original, unique, stand out. You're meant to stand out. So I feel like some of you guys your lesson is to learn how to accept yourself when others can't. And when you accept yourself, you will be able to fully create, because I feel like your life purpose is creation. You guys are very creative, very artistic, even if you aren't a painter or an illustrator or anything that you think is creative. You have strong, powerful, creative energy within you, and it could possibly be locked if you are finding it hard to accept yourself because you feel like other people won't accept you, or you're tired of standing out, or you're tired of being like the only one in certain situations. And only one could mean so many different things, but you guys are resourceful by nature. So if you feel like you're lacking resources, or you feel like you're lacking wherewithal to know what your options are, to how to find your resources, it has to do with accepting yourself. Like the key to all of it, the key to unlocking everything that you want in your life is embracing the truth of who you are and not being afraid to kind of mirror that to others. You guys are your presence is so strong, you might trigger people, right? Like if anybody has anything to say about like how cool you are and how out of the box you are, you're most likely bringing up things in them that they have repressed, that they really don't want to be thinking about, and then here you come. You know what I mean? Like has nothing to do with you actually. You're just reflecting that back on others. You might be an empath. You guys are very heart centered, driven, but you're also very expressionate. That's not a word. Expressive. You're also very expressive. You've got strong throat chakra. So if you're in music, yay! We need you. We need your music. We need your sound. We need your vibe, okay? But I also feel like, you guys are very psychic. Some of you guys are probably witches or Wiccans. You're very connected to nature. Very connected to nature. So that also is a way for you to unlock your creative juices if you feel blocked, is going outside, going into nature, preferably places that are quiet. Be safe. But like if you have a yard, wonderful, go out in your yard, right? If there's a park nearby and it's safe for you to do so, like go out and commune with the fairies. You have 2 cards that represent fairies here. So I really feel like you guys are deeply connected to nature. And if you haven't been out in nature in a while, you probably feel disjointedness in your life. You probably feel like unable to really express everything that is you, right? Because you're not feeding your entirety. So your life purpose definitely has to do with creativity, definitely has to do with magic and alchemy, and like just being your unique self. And I know that we often probably don't like to think of ourselves as like I don't want you to think like I'm telling you to be like self-absorbed or self-centered. It's something that needs healing in a lot of people, not being able to like own their brilliance and like step into their power. But not to get too egotistical, but what I'm saying is like your uniqueness, your specific eccentricity, or whatever it is about you that's like so original, that helps. I know it may not feel like it because it's just like, this is just how I am, but it's like your unique self, being your unique self gives others permission to do the same. It's like, especially if some of you grew up in like small towns where you're the only person who was like you, it was meant to be that way. It's like if there was a bucket of water and there was a drop of paint, and now you can't not see that drop of paint, but it's added color to the water, right? So that's kind of like how you guys are, is you make the world brighter, better, more colorful, because you are so magical and ethereal. And you also came here just to enjoy yourself as well. Okay? But the first card you pulled is Camel. So it may be a life lesson of yours to discover this, because often we discover deep truths about ourselves by like going in the opposite direction. We as humans, we learn through contrast. So it's like, but you guys are really resourceful. You know who you are. You're powerful. And when you accept all of you and you accept your uniqueness, no matter what anybody else says, you were independent, and many blessings flow to you through that acceptance and through that act of stepping into your power and stepping into yourself and saying like, I really like this, I really like who I am, you know? So you're definitely here to be confident and to spread that confidence. Like I said, you being your bold self gives others permission to do the same. And you're also, like I said, here to enjoy yourself. You've got festivity here. So you're unique, and you're like this vibrant person so that you can have fun with it, right? Have fun with your style, have fun even with your personality, right? Have fun even with your personality. Have fun with how you are and who you are. Put on different accents if you want to, like try on different characters for size, you know what I mean? Like, have fun with life. You're really here to create and manifest a really wonderful life for yourself, and you have the power to do so. That's why I said some of you guys are witches. But you've also got the Green Woman here in reverse from the Wildwood Tarot deck. In traditional tarot, this is the Empress. So the fact that she's in reverse lets me know that you guys, it just might be a life lesson for you, and you're only learning it to strengthen you and to strengthen your confidence, to strengthen your conviction in the core of who you are. But I feel like, you know, this is you, right? You are the Empress. You are like this beautiful, like effervescent, wild person who's just like frolicking in the meadows. And like you've got your cauldron and you're like manifesting amazing things for yourself. But I just feel like, you know, especially if, like I said, you were bullied or you're around people who couldn't accept you, you might just have the life lesson of honoring your power and recognizing the gifts that you have and using them to their full potential. But what will help you unlock that is, like I said before, going out in nature. Really spend some time in nature if you can. Be safe, like I said, but spend some time outside. It really helps to heal you, and it really helps to ground you and help you to remember how like just fabulous you are, you know what I mean? And that connects you deeper to your magic. Okay? So if you guys are into manifestation, go outside. It's really good. The next card you've got is Light. And in this card, like this is the first card that has some fairies. I don't know if you can see. They're up there, but probably not. But there's fairies in it. She's standing by this fire, and all of these fairies are kind of like flying around her. And up in the light, there's a bird, but there are the symbols for each of the elements, right? Earth, water, air, fire. So I feel like that's part of your life purpose, is kind of like integrating and representing all of life's kind of wonders, right? All of Earth's wonders. I feel like some of you guys are probably into the environment, even if you are like in the arts or creativity or something else entirely. I feel like you guys are aware of the environment and you want to like shed light on places that often are shrouded in darkness. Like I feel like you guys are probably light workers. That's also probably another reason why you are so unique, is to grab people's attention, to get them to want to listen to you, to get them to want to know what you have to say, because you have a lot to say and it's very important that you say it, right? That's why I was like clapping if you're musicians, because it's sometimes easier for people to digest information, especially heavy information like environmental issues, if it's through song. But if that's not you, that's totally fine. You have other ways of spreading your magic. But I feel like that's what this card is kind of letting you know. And also kind of letting you know just some reassurance. If you do find yourself feeling a lack of confidence, if you do find yourself feeling like you aren't good enough or things like that, know that light is always within you. You are a source of light. So you're never really lost. You're always going to be able to find your way back, but you are your own torch, okay? You are your own way home. So just remember that there are lots of elements to you to be grateful for and to be proud of, okay? The next card you pulled is aging, which is interesting. The first thing I thought when I saw this was like, okay, you guys are going to be here for a while. But I'm also feeling like it's just kind of about you being so unique and being so like vibrant doesn't have any restriction or bounds, okay? So do not put unnecessary boundaries on your abilities or what you can dress like, or you know, what you can wear, what you can do with your life. Some of you guys are going to change careers a couple of times because you're just so dynamic and you need different stimulation or whatever it is. Like I feel like you guys have a lot of energy and a lot of expressive energy. So do not limit yourself. It might be a part of your life path to learn that lesson of realizing like age ain't nothing but a number, right? And your life doesn't stop because you aren't however old, or you are however old. But the card says, I am one with unlimited love beyond all seeming restrictions of age. I am filled with joy, energy, and beauty, a vessel for the divine Shakti. Your purpose, your life is much bigger than whatever ageism has taught us, okay? So don't let that hold you back. Part of your life's purpose is learning to like never hold back, to always lead with the truth, with our honest, authentic selves, okay? And don't be afraid of a timeline, and don't assign yourself an unnecessary timeline, okay? The next card you have is fairies, earth magic. Like I said, go outside, you guys. The fairies want to connect with you. They want to talk to you. You are one of the only people who can see, who can hear them. Okay, you guys are very magical people. So don't neglect that magic. You guys are meant to use that connection with nature and to use that connection with source and divinity and your inner magic to kind of spread it out and share it with the world. Even though you may feel a little bit scared to do so, you guys are so resilient and gifted and talented, and you can do it. And if you go out in nature, you will be inspired always. If you ever feel creatively blocked, go outside, okay? And ask the fairies what to do. They will let you know. The next card you've pulled is Ma'at, and she represents truth. So lead with the truth of who you are you help others to lead with the truth of who they are. If you cause other people discomfort, it's meant to happen. All right? If you and your entirety is too much for people, it's because somewhere they feel they are not enough. Okay? So always lead with truth, no matter how uncomfortable it makes people. It's part of who you are. And the last card you pulled is magic. Like I told you guys, you're magical. I would not be surprised if some of you didn't practice magic already. If you already know you are, I would not be surprised. If you guys have read any of the Terry Pratchett novels, like I feel like you guys are like characters out of a Terry Pratchett book. Like you're just so whimsical, but also at the same time practical and like resourceful, and you use your knowledge and your wisdom and your originality and your imagination to create really amazing things like magic. I really feel like you guys are just, yeah, like I heard, like just practical magic, right? Even though sometimes it may look impractical to others, not everybody is connected to that kind of thing, right? We already know that it can be hard to remember that sometimes, especially if you know you're around like-minded people, right? If you're used to just like whipping out your tarot cards and being like, let's see, you know, what the cards have to say or whatever, it can be easy to forget that not everybody is connected in those ways, right? Not everybody is like believes in that kind of thing. And I feel like you guys just, you bring magic to the mundane, you bring magic to your life and to other people's lives, and that's part of your life's purpose, is to make your life as wonderful and magical as you want. But in so doing, you help others to do so as well, even without them knowing, probably. But the card says, the frequency of magic supports our intrinsic ability to grow and to expand beyond this moment, to move toward possibilities and expressions that are as grand and profound as we can imagine. All that is required is our belief in their manifestation. Yeah, believe in yourself. Part of your life purpose is to have confidence in being who you really are and believe in everything that you are, so that you can express yourself fully and make magic, really. Spreading the truth of who you are and helping others to see the truth of who they are. And really enjoy life. Enjoy life, okay? Be as abundant and whimsical and ethereal as you want to be, and understand that you have no limits. All right? Don't put unnecessary restrictions on yourself. And remember that you are the light, okay? That's all I've got for you guys. Group number 2, I really hope it resonated with you. Please let me know down below if it did. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your energy with me. I really appreciate it. The magic in me honors the magic in you. Be well. Bye. Hey, group number 3, those of you who chose labradorite. Okay, so a couple, like, you guys got extra cards because they flew out, and so I kept them. And I'm realizing why now, because I feel like, you know, your spirit guides, your angels, they really want you to know that whatever it is that you're going through is not there to punish you. I feel like you guys have been through a lot in your life, and it could feel like to you that maybe your life purpose is just to suffer or to keep going through, you know, garbage. But it's not the case. I do see here a lot of, like, you know, doubts or grief or loss, confusion. And I think it's like one big lesson. Like, I feel like your guys' life purpose here is to be a student of life. I think you've been here before, and in this lifetime, you are really learning some hard lessons that have to do with softening and understanding that softening, it doesn't mean you're weak. It actually means you're strong, you know, kind of like to become like water, like Bruce Lee says, right? Or to find compassion and kindness and patience. And, you know, oftentimes the sweetest and wisest among us are the people who've been through the most. So I feel like that's very true to you guys. Like, you have gifts that you are giving or can give or plan to give to the world, but they are in direct relation to all of the things that you've been through. But like I said, your purpose here is to be a student, because I feel like you are transitioning or evolving into the teacher. But right now you are the student. So you are experiencing things, you are making the mistakes, you are learning the lessons, and it's helping you to kind of like accept and be with life on life's terms. And I think when you guys get there, you're going to manifest some really cool things. You've got the owl here as your first card, is your spirit animal guide. And the owl is very magical, very wise. But to me, it's like that magic and that wisdom doesn't come from nowhere, right? There's a resiliency there, right? Birds, they're just dinosaurs, right? They've been here the longest at this point. So it's kind of like a message to you that you are so much stronger and more resilient than you give yourself credit for. And if you could pause and take a look and take stock of your life, you'd realize that everything that you've been through has led you to much better places and has made you stronger and wiser. It doesn't feel or sound quite adequate to say, like, you know, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, but it's like, it's just about understanding that there is a blessing in every heartache, and you weren't here just to experience heartache. It's almost like your task is to find those blessings, and is to find your optimism, your personal kind of optimism. But you've got the Five of Stones here, which in traditional tarot is the Five of Pentacles. And it's interesting because in this deck it's called endurance. And I feel like that's one of your lessons here. That's part of your life path, is to learn how to endure, is to learn how to be resilient and persevering and overcome whatever challenges come at you. And the thing about this card in traditional tarot is like, there is a cup. Like, I feel like I think it's like 4 cups on the ground spilled, but there's still 1 cup behind. So that's kind of like your life path is turning around to look at the extra cup that you still have upright, right? And it's only going to make you a better match to helping teach others these hard lessons that you had to learn. But it doesn't have to all be, you know, it can also be fun to learn because I also feel like there's like a lot of light coming off of here. So even though it's saying, you know, you've been through things and you're going through things, there's also a lot of like promise and potential here. You've got the Page of Arrows in reverse. In traditional tarot, this is the Page of Swords. So, you know, pages, they're young. They're just starting out on their journeys. You know, they've got that, there's a newness, right? Just beginning. Like, look how small this little bird is. And another bird imagery. But I feel like, you know, sometimes you guys get a little hasty. Maybe you don't think before you act, or you don't think before you speak, and you know, maybe you make some mistakes. Those mistakes are part of the plan. Okay, those like little mishaps, they are part of the journey, because you guys, I feel like, are healers. You're light workers. You're here to heal. You probably feel for others very deeply, even if you kind of like keep yourself away from them. I feel like they are probably attracted to you, and you may not know how to interact all of the time, but there's like a natural ability within you to heal. There's a natural ability within you to help people to connect with their healing and how they can, help themselves. And you come by this information through everything that you go through. You're really just like learning as you go. Like I said, you guys are the student, and it enables you to kind of be like this vessel for healing for others as well as yourself, because ultimately, your life purpose is also to heal you as well, to learn from you as well. The next card you've got is Spiritual Guide. So I'm thinking that in this lifetime, especially since I think that you guys will end up being the teacher, find a teacher. And it's interesting because I told group 1 that I felt like they were a spiritual guide, and then you have the spiritual guide card here. So that's very interesting, but I think that you guys will eventually be this guide yourself. But right now, since you are the student, it is time to find like a mentor. I think that, when you are open to it, they will find you, because it's part of your life path. It's part of your life purpose, is to go on this like kind of journey of discovery and of learning, evolving your mind, expanding your spiritual awareness, expanding your position, your perspective on life. And once you do, it'll also help you to understand the things that you've been through and to really release, heal, and let them go, because that's also a part of your path. The next card you pulled is Perceive. So I'm thinking that, as the student, part of your lesson and your life purpose is to challenge your perceptions, other people's perceptions, and dig deeper for actual truths. Like, you may be faced in your life with times where you're like questioning if everything will always go wrong, or if you're always going to feel this way and stuff like that. And you'll have to choose the harder choice, which is to be strong and optimistic, is to choose to believe that it'll get better, to choose to believe that you are here for a much bigger reason. And even when things look grim, be positive anyway. Even if somebody does something to you and they never apologize, forgive them anyway. Even if you make a mistake that you feel like was just super monumental, let it go anyway. You know what I mean? I feel like you're going to be, your purpose is to kind of, not to jump the gun, but is to like transform into this shaman, right? So to get there, like, they didn't get there like this, right? They weren't born like this. We have to be cared for first. We take our first steps, and then the world has us and things happen, and we learn, and we find out who we really are. So I feel like that's your life purpose, is to find that out, is to reach that place where you're like, you know who you are, and you know what you want, and you're going to get it through kindness, through compassion, through a softness, because you didn't allow the turmoil in your life to harden you. The next card you pulled is Believe in Dreams, another 44. Because Perceive is 44, this is 44. Every time I see 44, I always think it's the angel's way of saying all is well. So I think, with it being Believe in Dreams, this is reminding you that throughout your life, you will be okay. All is well, all is as it should be. Whenever you're learning lessons, whenever you're going through hardships, it's for a reason. And if you really look, you can find the blessing in it. But don't ever let anything stop you from believing in your dreams, because whatever dream you have is divine. Okay? You aren't led there for no reason. You are a very special and powerful being. You are very wise. You will become wiser and wiser as you go through life because of these lessons. Okay? And like I said, you are going to be that person who didn't let it harden them. It made you stronger, but in the best ways possible, to where you will be just like I said in the beginning, like water. You will make your way one way or the other. Like I just showed you, this card is hardship. And it said, may I embrace what's happening right now, as baffling or painful as it is. Help me, God, to trust where you are guiding me. I am yours. Right, because you are being divinely guided. Believe in your dreams. I don't know what it is that you are passionate about, but that is where you're meant to, that's the road you're meant to follow. That's the path you're meant to go down. What you learn along the way is your life path. You are the student. So understand, like it says, whatever was happening, as baffling or as painful as it is, help to know and to trust that you are being guided, because it's all a part of this journey to getting you to be this shaman. I'm telling you, okay? Like, you've got spiritual guide here. So I feel like you guys need a spiritual guide. And maybe you also need to commune with some kind of a shaman or some kind of elder or, mystic in your community, because you will eventually pick up the mantle and continue the tradition. So embrace your challenges, because they're going to set you up to be this person in other people's lives. This wisdom that you have isn't coming from nowhere. Okay? So I'm not telling you that like everything's just going to be all bad and like, you should just grin and bear it. I'm just saying, like, when things do seem like they're going wacky, or when it does hurt, find your way to find the healing in it. Make healing your priority, and make extracting the wisdom from the lesson your priority. You guys won't be the ones to wallow and be confused and just not understand. With every challenge, with every obstacle, with every step, you grow wiser and stronger. And each obstacle or challenge, test, whatever it is, will become shorter, because you will have all of these tools in your arsenal to overcome whatever comes at you. And you're going to be able to pass those tools on to other people, which is really, really important. We need people like you. And how you find that healing within you and how you help others to heal is to have compassion. Like I said, everything that you go through is going to soften you and help you to relate to others, help you to feel compassionate for others, help you to feel patience and understanding first, right? Like I said before, if somebody does something to you and they don't ever apologize, you're going to forgive them anyway, because you know that that is the way, that is the path to healing, is just letting go, taking it for what it is and letting it go. That is like part of your life lesson, is to learn this compassion and unconditional love for yourself. And then that'll help you to share it with others. And the last card you've got is conception. Going back to the beginning, when you don't know anything, right? You guys are the student. So your whole life path is going to be learning and growing and climbing and reaching your full potential. And what's going to help you get there is by remembering where it all started, right? Going back through the lessons, tracing your steps, and understanding that it all brought you here. And here is right where you're meant to be. But there's infinite potential for the future, especially if you believe in your dreams, right? But the card says, the frequency of conception invites us to bring our consciousness to our origin, the place where everything in creation begins. It helps us to remember the infinite potential and possibilities of this space and what we can manifest through our own focused awareness and intention. Yeah. So you guys are definitely very special and very important, very wise, very strong, learning all the way. So eventually you will be the teacher. Really, really beautiful, you guys. If this reading resonated with you, please let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your energy with me. I really appreciate it. The magic in me honors the magic in you. Be well. Bye. Hi, group number 4, those of you who chose pyrite. All right, so you guys are here to learn to love and be free. Be free of your preconceived notions, be free of shame, be free of any binds or boundaries unnecessarily you've put on yourself. You're here to go back to your beginner's mind. I don't know how many times you've been here. I don't know how old of a soul you are, but chances are, you know, even if it's just like you have a split lifetime within this lifetime, like where you spend one half kind of denying who you are, kind of trying to put on a front of being something that you're not, trying to keep a mask on or pretend to be like tough and more adult or serious than you actually are. I feel like your life will be a journey of returning to who you actually are, which is very loving, very childlike, very effervescent, very ethereal. So it's just kind of like you guys are here to embrace that and embrace the innocent aspects of life, right? And to spread love and to spread joy. Once you release the need to keep any part of you hidden, or the need to be serious, if that's what it is, whatever front it is that you guys put on, your life path is to liberate yourself from it, and you will be an example to others to free themselves from that kind of a thing too. You guys very much so feel to me like the 60s, when it was just like all free love and like, you know, people were just like living all together and, and like communal living, you know what I mean? And like there was this opposition at the same time of traditionalists and people who felt like, you know, oh, hippies are kind of like gross, and you know, whatever it was that the negative things that they said. I feel like you have that duality within you. So it's going to be just kind of like a path of discovery and recognition of what is actually true to you, and claiming your right to love, and claiming your right to be who you really are, without shame, without guilt, without feeling like you have to conform. So I think that some of you guys may begin by conforming, and then you will all along your life's journey realize like that's not for me and I can't do that, and I need to be the full expression of myself, and that is how I will be able to love others and receive love and just blossom, basically bloom, and create the best life imaginable for yourself and just be free. Like I feel like you guys, your life purpose is to be free and to love, but you just might have to go through that lesson of finding out what it's like to be on the opposite end, where you don't accept yourself and you find it hard to follow your beginner's mind or to follow your heart, right? Because you've got the shark here, which is like it's watery energy, and it's like have you ever had a dream? It reminds me, have you ever had a dream where there was like dark water that you couldn't see through? It's like there are emotions, there are things that are like lurking beneath the surface. And I just feel like it represents who you actually are. So, you know, this could be representative of what I was saying before, like of shame or of guilt. And it's causing you to feel like you should hide or you should pretend and things like that. But But in actuality, there's nothing to hide. There's nothing to be ashamed of. You are, this really amazing and beautiful person who's got such an open heart and such a kind spirit, kind soul. So, it's interesting because I feel like we often don't really talk about what can make people so kind and so loving, right? Which is sometimes and oftentimes the experience of the exact opposite. We as humans learn through contrast a lot. So I feel like that's part of your life path, is like becoming and freeing yourself from this kind of energy. And like, if you see it starts out dark and just gets lighter, I feel like that's the trajectory of your life, is like keeping certain aspects in the dark and then gradually bringing them to light because you accept yourself. And this is reiterated with this card, Return to Source. So that's also a part of your life path, is returning to your spiritual center, to your heart center, to the core of who you are, to the core of who we all are, which is divine. It's recognizing your soul, is honoring your soul, is realizing you can't just be ruled by your ego or whatever it is, whatever constraints you have in the earthly realm. Like understanding that we live in a vast and infinite universe, and you can't confine yourself to like petty limitations here on earth, right? Like return to that source energy, that infinite energy, right? And the next card you pulled is the Lovers, the Forest Lovers. So that might mean like getting back out into nature to remind yourself of source energy, right? To remind yourself of creative energy, because when you get out into nature, it's like, if you stare at a tree long enough, your mind will be blown away, because it's like, whew, this tree is probably older than me. Its roots are probably, longer than me, like underground, and then it stretches up to be so huge, or even like a little baby tree, right? And just like seeing something grow, kind of looking at yourself with that same awe and wonder of watching you grow, right? And learning to love yourself. I feel like you guys will be surrounded by love, but it's going to be coming from a place where you've learned to love yourself. You've stopped hiding. You've returned to source. And so now you love you, and then you will be kind of greeted by the love of your life, right? I feel like you guys will definitely be partnered with people who can kind of enjoy you with you. You know what I mean? Who can love you along with you. It'll be like a very harmonious and really beautiful relationship, or relationships, right? It could be multiple people. But I think this is also representative of the harmony that will kind of envelop your life when you embrace all aspects of you, and when you decide that, like, I don't care if it's silly, like, I'm actually not this tough exterior I try to put out into the world. I'm actually, very, very soft and light and earthy and like a forest nymph or something. Like, you're very magical and organic, like these two people, they're standing in this garden and there's this tree. Oh, I was just talking about a tree. So I feel like this is kind of your energy. This card definitely represents you. So I feel like that is your life purpose, is getting to be this person. The next card you pulled is Liberation. So this could mean a couple things. I feel like maybe some of you guys could possibly have like a bit of an addiction to, your phones or technology, materialistic things. Maybe you will go through a point where you shop a lot, or you feel like your value lies in material possessions. You're going to be liberated from that. I feel like I said before, your life path definitely has to do with freedom, and that means real freedom. So You will be free from shame, you'll be free from guilt, you'll be free from expectation, but you'll also be free of extra baggage, physically, extra crap you do not need, right? You're going to come to the realization that your worth does not lie in material possession of any kind. It lies within you and your heart, and how open you are to living life lovingly and authentically, right? And I also feel like you are the liberator. So you're going to help free others. Even if you don't, personally tell them how to be free or anything like that, you will lead by example. I feel like you're going to have a kind of life where people really want it, and they're like, how did that person get there? And if you choose to share your story, which I hope you do, they will, be able to figure out, okay, so how do I apply that to my own life? Because we all have our own journeys, but I just feel like you will be able to lead by example and really free people, even if you never find out. Okay? So it's very important that you come to these realizations, that you return to source and you lead with love, because your life path affects other people's as well. The next card you pulled is True Love, which definitely corresponds with the Lovers. With the Lovers, like I said, you will definitely have a lot of love in your life, but I feel like it'll be coming from the fact that you've chosen to love yourself. And the card says, your wholeness and safety lie within, not from a partner. But this sovereignty actually leads to the deepest intimacy for you to stop using others. Let me stand on my own feet, dear Lord, and know true love. Yeah. So part of, coming out of hiding and returning to source is also realizing that you've got to embrace and love every part of you and not be fearful of it. And you'll understand that, you could possibly, you might learn some lessons in love where you realize, oh, I'm using this person to feel good about myself, or I'm using this person to feel secure in who I am, or, I just want to be in a relationship because I think otherwise I'm not interesting, or whatever silly thing it is. I think you will learn that lesson and come to realize, like, true love is me right now, in this space, in this body, who I am. And that energy is going to emanate out, and people will be attracted to you. And like, your true love or loves, like I said, could be multiple people, are going to find you, and you will feel very full. You will feel whole. You know what I mean? The next card you pulled is Childhood, which represents innocence. And I love this imagery. If you can see these kids playing in like a field and like by a forest or something. It's so beautiful. And the imagery too is like the sun breaking through these clouds, and if you can see all the way back here, there's some lightning. So I feel like, you guys, you won't come to this conclusion of hiding who you are, feeling shame, or being disconnected from source on your own. You may very well have been through or will go through some things that cause you to feel like you've got to, retreat or to put on the front to make yourself feel safer, or like you're tough and this and that. Your life purpose is going through that to return to here. Like, it's almost like they ran from this dark place out into the light together. So to me, this is you and your inner child. Like, you will discover the connection that you have to your inner child in this lifetime, and realize that it's always been with you. And if you take care of that, your life has been pretty much taken care of, okay? Because you have that innocence within you. It doesn't matter what you've done or anything like that. Innocence doesn't mean ignorance or like just being kind of like blissfully unaware. I feel like you guys, regardless of what you've told yourself or you've been told, are pure of heart. Okay? This whole card is green, like the heart chakra. This whole card is green, like the heart chakra. We've got green here. So I just feel like, and pink heart chakra. So I feel like, you guys, your sensitivity may be bruised. but it's not going to stop you. You're going to understand that, like, the real weakness would be to allow that stuff to hold you back from being your full self and hold you back from being your, like, effervescent and childlike self. Like, that's real weakness. You guys are much stronger than that, and you believe in yourself more than that. And I feel like, you know, you guys are also master manifestors. You've got Mary here, and she represents miracles. So I think also your journey coming into yourself along the way, you're going to be manifesting such wonderful things for yourself, because every step closer you get to being your most vibrant and authentic self is just, it sends out such amazing vibrations out into the universe. And I feel like you guys will find yourself kind of like stepping in and out of your vortex. And when you step in, great things will happen. And you may step out again, but it's all a part of the journey, and it's all a part of the lesson. And you're going to make it. But you guys, it's like you have that childlike belief, right? That miracles can happen. Like when we're kids and we're watching Disney and we see like a boy who's half mermaid, we're like, what? Yeah, of course, absolutely. 13th year, this whole plot makes perfect sense to me and my 8-year-old brain. Absolutely, I believe you. You've sold me. You know what I mean? Like, that's you guys. Like, people could laugh at that or think that's silly. You may have thought that kind of way of being is silly, but in actuality, it gets you what you want. Believing it can happen. Believing in miracles causes them to occur. And I think that's part of your life path is coming to that conclusion. The last card you pulled is Earth. So maybe, you know, it's possibly part of your life path, because this is also very earthy too, and this is too, is to spend time in nature, but like also make it kind of part of your vocation. Like maybe you guys will really care about the environment and the planet that we all live on, and try and you know, push forward loving ourselves so that we can start paying attention to loving our planet. Because I personally believe that how we are treating the planet is a direct reflection of how we treat ourselves and how we think of ourselves. Like, I don't think that you can escape that conclusion. I think it's very obvious. So I feel like with you guys, that's part of your life path, is to, and your life purpose is to help reconnect people by reconnecting yourself with going back to source, which is, I mean, clearly represented in the earth, clearly represented in nature. But the card says, the frequency of Earth activates our deep connection to this physical plane by showing us the beauty of all the aspects of our Great Mother and revealing the more ethereal, spiritual aspects of our nature. Right. Your life path is going back to, like I said, the beginner's mind, the beginning, childhood, feeling that innocence, feeling that belief in miracles, believing in magic, believing in love, spreading love and joy. You may start out in murky waters, or, you know, being unable to accept yourself, but it won't last long, and you're going to be liberated, and you're going to free yourself from that, and you're going to help others free themselves from that. And you will always be loved. You will always be surrounded by love, because you will be loving yourself. Okay? Really beautiful. Really, really beautiful. That's all I've got for you guys, group number 4. Please let me know in the comments down below if it resonated with you. I really hope it did. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your energy with me. I really appreciate it. The magic in me honors the magic in you. Be well. Bye.